What is the one thing you realized during this pandemic? I need friends. Question is, how do you find friends after school? I got a second job for this reason. After my divorce I found myself holding up in my house due to depression. I decided to get a second job, to be forced to get out and talk to new people. It worked. How much time is wasted by commuting? Working from home. The 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours plaything actually works. This and getting ready takes way less time. If only because you don't have to pack a lunch. 12-hour work days don't sound that bad until you realize you actually have no free time at all because Ellie is on time and traffic and showering and making lunch and blah blah blah. By the way, after this experience, how eager you are to revert to the old schedule? I know I'm not the person you asked, but personally, I'm just not going to go back. If and when my boss tries to suggest it, I'm going to just politely explain that I'm not interested in an on-site position for the foreseeable future, but I'm happy to continue working remote. He can take that or leave it. I have savings to help hold me over while I find another job that will let me work remote if needed. But I'm not returning to the office either way. Of course, I'm a one-person team, so I don't have to come in to collaborate with others, and I can always talk to my coworkers via Zoom/phone calls, like I have been for the past few months. And my entire job is already remote by nature. I'm in logistics, unless you're physically driving the truck/boat/plane, or you work in a warehouse. All of logistics is technically remote. I have documented proof that my productivity is increased when I'm working from home, including the fact that I take far less sick days for my undiagnosed chronic illness. Much easier to power through feeling unwell when I can sit on the couch in PJs vs having to dress up and sit in an office with other people, and I'm just better / I'm happier. I feel healthier, and I have more time to eat right and exercise. So it would be counterproductive all around to have me return to the stress of an office setting. Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad you have a plan. I have a horrible work ethic, as in none whatsoever. I found it hard to get started, but once I get into it, I'm more effective than I was in the office. I'm only more effective because I'm not constantly having to hold other people's hands to do their damn job. That's why I left my last job. I couldn't get a good portion of my work done because I had to answer stupid questions when people would come to my office. The Spanish flu was a 2-year affair, and back then they enforced wearing masks in public places and there was an anti-mask league. I'm waiting for the league to show up. Don't know about your country, but people have been demonstrating against mask regulations in trains and stores here in Germany, which I find fucking stupid, but they aren't called a league. I'm waiting for the league to show up. It's not a league anyone needs or anyone deserves, but it's a league. The League of Ignorant Citizens? Belching with a mask on is a really bad idea. This is a real wisdom right here, but it contains the byproducts for easy recapture and second consumption. From a perspective of efficiency, it's really the best way for it to be done, all things considered. Did you copy this off a review for Human Centipede? People are really dumb. Like I didn't know I could think less of people, but now I do. I'm still scratching my head over how badly we botched and politicized the issue of police brutality during this time, which should have been fundamentally bipartisan. There are major entrenched interests behind the policing status quo. The only time this issue has ever been bipartisan, it's been on the side of brutality, and it's a struggle that spans our country's history. So I'd mark it in the plus column that even one party is largely taking the issue seriously. I agree with you, with just one minor caveat. Hopefully people read this through a few times before applying, so I don't get jumped over an unfortunate misinterpretation. I do know many people from all areas of the political spectrum who are definitely against police brutality. I'm really hoping this is most people, but it's hard to know for sure. There are two, hopefully, small groups of people who are driving me insane though. There's a small group who is trying to take this opportunity to basically label half the entire country as being racists. And there's another group who is trying to label all the protesters as being violent rioters. I'm really hoping those groups are a small, but vocal, minority. Like I said, most people I've actually met understand there's an issue worth addressing here. Those two vocal groups are preventing any bipartisan unity though, and I'm getting pretty sick of it at this point. I guess I was naively optimistic about our society as a whole and our ability to not turn everything into a highly politicized and polarized issue. Hopefully we are progressing in the right direction. I think we slowly are on some issues. It can certainly be frustratingly slow and hard to see at times though. Self-improvement and doing all those hobbies I've sworn that I could only do if I had more free time. Apparently time is not the bottleneck I thought it was. My biggest enemy is motivation and inertia. Same here. For years I kept telling myself when I have the free time, I'm gonna do everything I can every single day to be better and always blamed work as the problem. Now that I work from home and have more time to do so, I felt like the pressure of everything just hit too hard and I just went numb. Paralysis by analysis. I really like teleworking because I get sporadic interruptions from my daughter and I get to see my wife nearly all day. I love working virtually. I did not realize how exhausting it is to interact with humans face to face all day. I just said all my exhaustion was fatigue from my two chronic illnesses. It isn't. Without face to face, I see on average 2 more clients a day because I have the energy. I stay awake beyond 7 PM at night. And my body doesn't ache head to toe. For the record, I'm a therapist, so I assume tired was just how my career is going to be. We hot damn. I'm mentally so much sharper and clients are hitting goals all over the place. I don't even like thinking about how much harder work was before pandemic. I feel like such a better therapist. The downside is that you need to keep yourself in check and not to overreact with working because the food is 2 steps away and you don't waste time commuting. My commute was 2 minutes before pandemic. But the food issue is real though. Cooking a fresh lunch every day is awesome. Way better than eating out every day because I can't control myself and I always forget a lunch. There are a lot of non-essential jobs and a lot of them probably won't be coming back. The entire travel industry got itself a one-way ticket. I dunno. Depends on what you mean by travel industry. People absolutely miss travel and will resume when they can. Airlines, resorts, Vegas, tour groups, cruises. The question with these is not will people do them again in the future. The question is, can they survive long enough financially to be there when people return? Somebody will buy them up and start it back up in almost no time and sure, that's how capitalism is actually supposed to work. That I was spending a lot of my time faking it around people that I really did not enjoy being around. Same. I became even more certain that politicians are stupid and power hungry fuckers who do not care for their people. It's not just politicians, though. Garbage in, garbage out. / Carlin. Or, my favorite line from him, the owners of the country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Apostrophe. Working from home is exactly as awesome as I always suspected it was. I just got my first ever job doing this. The only difference between my PJs and work clothes was whether I had shoes or slippers on. All the years spent playing Plague Incorporated didn't pay off. COVID-19 would be the worst playthrough of Plague Incorporated. LMFAO. Borders got closed after upgrading the fever DNA tree and the player didn't seem to pop the vaccine bubbles. Yeah. Should have waited longer before evolving symptoms. To be fair, he chose a virus. You'd be wasting points to devolve the symptoms. And considering this is all on easy mode, I think the player is doing a pretty bad job. I don't like pandemics. Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time. Things will get better someday. The 9 to 5 MF work schedule is a scam. I took a nap from 3 to 5 today. I made iced tea. I got lunch with my brother. I worked all morning and I'm gonna finish up between now and 1 AM when I feel most productive. There's no way I'm going back to sit in a double wide at an equipment yard with airplanes going over. My wife and I get along very well. We are now living and working together, which means we hardly ever have an hour apart. Been doing this since March and not even an argument. We have witnessed many other relationships fall, but ours is stronger than ever 15 years later. Same here almost exactly, except we're going on 13 years and started out of high school. There's a lot going on around us. Most of our friends from high school are on their second and third marriages or not very happy. I'm grateful that my wife and I get along the way we do, and COVID has strengthened our bond when I didn't think there was a capacity for more. Witnessing all these people around us in distress is hard. People being divided, falling for conspiracies to the point of destroying families and friendships. All the while we have built our home, our family and relationship, found new and exciting outdoor activities that we enjoy together, and actually saved a lot of money during this pandemic. We don't make a lot and are basically on the verge of poor, but over the years I've built my credit and we have recently been able to purchase health insurance and start saving for our daughter's education. This pandemic sucks, but it's actually been beneficial for my family overall so far. That doesn't take away from the seriousness of it all and thousands of lives that have been taken or will be taken from the virus. Just my experience. How absurdly incompetent the government is.